ईयरफोन हाँ सॉरी Don't start. Mute. Someone check the screen.
Check. Okay. Check screen. Okay.
लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् पूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं को न याति पराङ्गतिम् यः पिबन् सततं रामचरितामृतसागरम् अतृप्तस्तं मुनिं वन्दे प्राचेतसमकल्मषम् गोष्पदीकृतवाराशीमशकीकृतराक्षसं रामायण महामाला रत्नं वन्दे निलात्मजम् अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकीशोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं मादात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि उल्लङ्घ्य सिन्धोः सलिलं सलीलं यशोकवह्निं जनकात्मजायाः आदाय तेनैव ददाह लङ्कां नमामि तं प्राञ्जलिराञ्जनेयम् आञ्जनेयमतिपाटलाननं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदप्राचेरसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना तदुपगतसमाससन्धियोगं सममधुरोपणतार्थवाक्यबद्धं रघुवरचरितं मुनिप्रणीतं दशशिरश्च वधं निशामयध्वं श्रीराघवं दशरथात्मजमप्रमेयं सीतापतिं रघुकुलान्वयरत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुं अरविन्ददलायताक्षं रामं निशाचरविनाशकरं नमामि वैदेहीसहितं सुरद्रुमदले हैमे महामण्डपे मध्ये पुष्पकमासने मणिमये वीरासने सुस्थितम् अग्रे वाचयति प्रबन्धनसुरे तत्त्वं मुनिभ्यः परं व्याख्यान्तं भरतादिभिः परिवृतं रामं भजे श्यामळम्.
The story that we have covered until now is that Bharata has returned back to Ayodhya with Rama's slippers, which will act as a placeholder for Rama being the king, while Bharata is more of a practical king who will look after the kingdom. Rama comes back to Chitrakuta after meeting Bharata. Bharata has gone, and he meets a group of sages. The sages seem to be discussing something amongst themselves. Looking at their eyes, Rama says to himself, "These sages surely look very anxious. I must go and talk to them and ask them what is the cause of their anxiety." Now here, one of the many qualities that Sri Rama displays throughout the Ramayana is shown. He goes to the sages and he asks them. He asks the leader of the sages, "O venerable sage, is there something that I have committed which has angered you? Or has the service of my dear wife Sita not been up to the mark? Or has Lakshmana done something that might have angered you?" So in this particular scenario, he is taking accountability of his own self as well as his subjects towards the service that is provided to the sages in his hermitage at Chitrakuta. The sages tell him, "O Raghava, how can anyone from the Raghu dynasty ever commit an action that can be harmful to us? How can your sweet wife Sita ever do something that is inadequate? Surely you are not at fault." Actually, what has happened is that there is this Rakshasa named Khara who has been vandalizing our yajnas. Whenever we sit for yajna, they feel delighted to come by and ransack our yajnas. They pick on us. Some of them even eat our flesh. They enjoy doing so. Khara, who is their leader, takes special pleasure in killing brahmanas who are performing yajnas. Then he goes on to describe Khara's form, and ultimately he says, "O valiant one, O Rama, we are leaving this place because this place is no longer safe for us. We suggest that you too, along with your wife and your brother, leave at once." Rama says, "Okay, I'll think about it." Some sages stay with Rama, saying that okay, we'll stay with him. He is an able Kshatriya and he can protect us all from any danger. The rest of the sages leave. Rama comes back to his hermitage at Chitrakuta. There he does Chintana. He thinks to himself, "This is the place where my dear brother met me for the last time. Moreover, when he brought his army with him, the hordes of elephants and horses that came along with him, they have dirtied this place with all their excreta. So this place is no longer pure. Because of the ill memories that I have of my brother meeting me for the last time, and because of the impurification of this place, I shall leave this place at once with my brother and my wife and search for a new place where I can set up a new hermitage." Saying this, Rama, along with Lakshmana and Sita, and the few sages who accompanied Rama, start their journey from Chitrakuta. Upon traveling through this area, he eventually reaches the hermitage of sage Atri. Atri welcomes him like a son. And he says to Sita, "You should go and meet my wife Anasuya." So Sita obliges. Sita goes to Anasuya. Rama is being venerated like an Atithi. He's being given water to drink, water to wash his feet. He's being given good food. Sita goes to Anasuya, and they both have a discourse over the duties of a wife. At the end of the discourse, when Anasuya is extremely satisfied with what all Sita has said about the duties of a wife, Anasuya says to Sita, "Oh Vaidehi, how lucky is your husband Rama to have you as his wife, who does not leave him even in times of great despair." Saying this, Anasuya asks, "Ask whatever you wish for, I will grant you." Sita, in all her humble nature, says that meeting you itself has been a delight, and I am fulfilled. I do not need anything else. So Anasuya says, "Okay, I can't let you go back just like that without any gift from my side." So she brings divine clothes, ornaments, garlands, beautiful flowers. She says to Sita, "These flowers will surely make you look very, very beautiful. And when you go to your husband Rama, he will become more beautiful by your presence." For this, she says, "Angaragena divyena lipta agni janakatmaje shobhayishyami bhartaram yatha shrir vishnum avyayam." When you go to Rama with all these ornaments and this garland and these clothes on you, you will beautify Sri Rama similar to how Mata Lakshmi beautifies the imperishable Mahavishnu. You will find many of these similarities between Shri Lakshmi and Shri Mahavishnu and Sita and Rama throughout Ramayana. As the day comes to an end, Sita comes back to Rama, and Rama is pleased at the kind of hospitality that he has received at Atri Muni's ashrama. The next morning, they leave Atri Muni's ashrama, and Rama asks Atri, "Whereforth should I go?" Atri tells him, "Okay, you go in the southern direction, and you will find many, many sages who can tell you more about the forest itself, because he is at..." So there is the kingdom of Ayodhya, and near to the border starts the Dandaka forest, and all the area below that is known as Janasthana. So Atri tells Rama, all the sages who are living in Janasthana are better suited to tell you which place to pick to build your hermitage. Rama agrees, and Rama leaves Atri's hermitage. On the way, he finds many sages who treat him like an Atithi, as well as his brother and his wife. One such group of sages, who are at the very edge of the Dandaka forest, they tell him about a safe passageway into the Dandaka forest. The sages tell him, "Oh great Raghava, this is the path that we use to collect fruits, flowers, firewood for our rituals. This is a safe passageway where you will not be troubled by Rakshasas. You can choose this way and go further ahead into the Dandaka forest to find someone who is worthy of telling you where to build your hermitage." Rama agrees, goes along that path. Here comes his first obstacle in the Dandaka forest. When they are traversing, all the three of them, Sita in particular is spotted by this Rakshasa named Viradha. Gruesome monster, very, very powerful. Swiftly, He pounces over them and he grabs Sita by the waist. In a rather mocking fashion, he asks Rama and Lakshmana, "O saints," because all these three have to give up their riches and they dress in saintly clothes. Virada says, "O saints, you have dressed in saintly clothes, but you carry weapons like Kshatriyas. You know how dangerous of a forest this is, yet so you bring along your wife with you here. I will punish your sins by killing you and drinking your blood, and I shall make this beautiful woman my wife." Upon realizing what has happened, Rama tells to Lakshmana, "O Saumitri, the ill will of Kaikeyi that she bears against me has come to fruition. Finally, Sita has been kidnapped. Kaikeyi wanted this to happen to me because she wanted the kingdom for her son Bharata. This ill deed has come to pass." Lakshmana tells Rama in a rather comforting manner. He says, "You are the scion of Ikshvaku. You are the best amongst the Raghus. Such a dialogue does not suit you. Today I am feeling the same anger as the time when your kingdom was taken away from you and was given to Bharata. With this same anger, I shall slay Virada. I shall throw this anger on Virada, similar to how Indra throws his Vajra." Now, Indra using his Vajra on something is no normal feat. Virada too is very astonished by this. So he asks, "O saints, who may you be?" To which Rama tells Virada his entire story of how he is banished into the forest. No, very straightforward man. Now Virada replies, "You have committed a great sin. You have renounced your riches and all your Kshatriya possessions and you have come here. I will give you a chance. You can leave this woman here with me and you both can flee. If you want to stay alive, you both can leave this woman with me." Now, upon hearing this, Rama is enraged. Quickly he strings his bow, takes an arrow. He fires 7 consecutive arrows towards Virada. They pierce him in his heart, but nothing happens. All 7 arrows pierce him on his chest. But they fall down, nothing happens. Then Virada laughs menacingly. He says, "I have a boon from Brahma, saying that I cannot be killed by any weapon in this world." And with this, he takes his spear. He keeps Janaki on the ground. He takes his spear and he rushes towards Rama to kill him. Rama, being the able Kshatriya warrior that he is, fires 2 arrows and breaks down the spear. Rama and Lakshmana both take out their swords and they start battering this guy. But to no avail. Because he cannot be defeated, or killed rather, not defeated, cannot be killed by anyone. He sustains all these injuries, but quickly he takes both of them on his shoulders, Rama on his right, Lakshmana on his left, and he starts moving away from Sita. Sita, who is now extremely scared, says, "O Rakshasa, better that you take me against these two, for I will anyways be killed by an animal or a Rakshasa, for I am no wielder of weapons." Upon hearing this, Rama realizes that he needs to do something quickly. And so, Rama indicates to Lakshmana, and both of them simultaneously break the shoulders of Virada. Virada falls on the ground. Again with their swords, they start battering this. Nothing happens. He sustains all those injuries, but since he is injured, he is not able to move as quickly as he was able earlier. Rama tells to Lakshmana, "See, clearly whatever this guy was saying before is true. because we are not able to kill him. For sure he must have received some boon from Brahma. What we'll do instead is that we'll dig a very deep pit, we'll throw him there, and we'll close the pit. We'll bury him in the ground so that he is no longer a menace to anyone in the forest. Upon saying this, Virada is defeated. Now Virada says, "O Rama, indeed you are the son of Dasharatha. This body is not really mine, for I have been in this body because of a curse." So he says, "Actually, I am a Gandharva named Tumburu. During my time in heaven, I was smitten by this Apsara named Rambha. And because I was smitten, I could not present myself before Kubera. And as a result, Kubera was angry and he cursed me into this body, saying that my curse will only be lifted when I am defeated by the son of Dasharatha. Now that I am defeated, I know of you as the son of Dasharatha. Finally, I am free from my curse and I can go back to heaven. Please bury this body of mine in a fashion that is suitable to Rakshasas. Further, from a distance of 1.5 yojana from here lies the ashrama of sage Sutikshana. You can go to his hermitage. He can guide you on how to proceed in this dangerous forest." Saying this, upon hearing this, Rama buries him and he is free to go to heaven. Again, you'll see this recurring theme in the Ramayana where once anyone dies, especially in Yuddhakanda, where once anyone dies, be it a Vanara or be it a Rakshasa, he will ensure that proper last rites are performed, irrespective of who that person is. So he buries Virada and he starts going in the direction that was shown by Virada. Eventually he reaches Sutikshna's ashram. As he is reaching Sutikshna's ashrama, he sees Indra. So he tells to Lakshmana, "O Lakshmana, protect Sita. I will go ahead to his ashrama and inquire whether we can stay here for the night." Indra, upon seeing Rama coming to his ashrama, he leaves quickly. He tells Sutikshna that, "O sage, I can only meet Rama after he has done all the deeds that are necessary for him to do on this earth. After that, I'll meet him nicely, calmly. Maybe we'll have a cup of tea." The reason behind this, which is mentioned in a couple of commentaries, is that Vishnu wanted Ravana to think of Rama only as a human. If he came to know that Rama was indeed an avatar of Vishnu, he, by the virtue of his merit, could ask for a boon which would make him undefeatable by any god. This would be a problem because Ravana is meant to be defeated at the hands of Rama. So he tells Indra and all the other gods, "See, please don't talk to me when I am in my human form. Once all this is done by my human form, you talk to me as much as you want." And so Indra leaves hurriedly. Rama reaches Sutikshna's ashrama. He bows down to him and he says, "Did Indra come here by any chance? I think I saw him going away on his chariot." So Sutikshna says, "Yes, indeed Indra came here. And the reason why he came here is because I have gained enough merit in my lifetime to now leave this body and go to Swargaloka, Brahmaloka." So he says that is why Indra had actually come here to give me an invitation to come to Brahmaloka. So Rama says, "Okay." Sutikshna already knows all the story that has happened with him being banished to the forest, and because he is a very well accomplished ascetic. So he already knows why Rama is here. So Sutikshna, before he immolates himself in the Vedic fire, he tells Rama, "Oh Rama, you should surely go to Agastya Muni's ashram. Agastya is the most apt person to guide you to build a hermitage somewhere here in the Dandaka forest." Saying this, he pounces into the Vedic fire, finishing off his body and going to Brahmaloka. The sages at Sutikshna's ashrama are also, affected by the doings of the Rakshasas, similar to the sages at Chitrakuta. So the sages come to Rama, and not in a complaining fashion, but in a rather reminding fashion, they tell Rama, "Oh Rama, you are the king here. It is your duty to protect us from all these demons, Rakshasas. Make sure that you remember of your duty while you are in the forest." Rama says, "Okay." Rama, Lakshmana and Sita, they spend the night in that ashrama. And the next day, they leave for Agastya's ashram. A few sages are still accompanying them. Maybe they also want to go to Agastya's ashram. While going towards Agastya's ashrama, they come across a huge pond which is mentioned to be 1 yojana in width. We don't know what exactly 1 yojana means, but we for sure know that it means some very huge measure, size. So Rama asks one of the sages, "This is a very majestic lake. Tell me the story of this lake." And so the sage replies, there was this sage called Mandakarni. And Mandakarni was deep into penance. He was gaining a lot of merit. And all the celestials, the Gandharvas and the gods in heaven, they were all worried that this man will gain enough merit to dethrone us of our position. And so in order to stop him in his penance, they sent down 5 apsaras, very, very beautiful, enchanting apsaras. Naturally, their plan succeeds. And the sage says, "Okay, I'll marry all the 5 of you, and I'll build a great house inside this lake where we can spend our life together." And so the lake is created, inside the lake their house is created. They spend their life. They play a lot of instruments, which leads to a lot of beautiful sounds coming from the lake, which is what makes Rama intrigued in the first place. Going ahead towards Agastya Muni's ashrama, Rama asks again, "Oh sage, tell me about the story of Agastya Muni." So the sage continues, "Once upon a time, there were these 2 Rakshasas named Ilvala and Vatapi. The powers that they had are very interesting. Ilvala would call a Brahmana to their place for having lunch or dinner, a meal. He would cook Vatapi in the form of a ram. He'll cook Vatapi, ram meat, and he'll disguise it as simple food. The Brahmanas would eat this food. Once this food enters their stomach, Ilvala asks, 'Vatapi, oh Vatapi, come outside.' Vatapi would reform inside their stomachs, and they would splash the Brahmana, killing him in the process. Once upon a time, Agastya Muni was caught by these 2. Ilvala asks, 'Oh Muni, come to my house. I'll give you a very tasty, nice meal. It will fill your stomach.' Agastya obliges. He goes to their house. Same thing happens again. Ram meat disguised as food is given to Agastya. Ilvala says, Vatapi, oh Vatapi, come outside. I wish to talk to you. But Vatapi does not come. Agastya Muni says, I know what you guys were up to. With the kind of powers that I have gained through my merit, I have digested your brother. Upon hearing this, Ilvala is infuriated. He starts attacking Agastya, but again, with the powers that he has, he kills Ilvala with. Rama hears the story and they come to Agastya Muni's ashrama. Agastya Muni is inside his ashrama, he is performing some sort of Vedic ritual, a yajna or some sort. So Rama asks Lakshmana to go into the ashrama, catch hold of a disciple, tell him who these three are, and ask the disciple to call Agastya Muni at his will. Lakshmana goes in, he catches hold of a disciple. He tells him, see, we are Rama, Sita and Lakshmana. We have been banished like this from our kingdom on the request of my brother's father, my father. That is why we are roaming around here and we wish to meet the illustrious sage Agastya. The disciple goes in. He tells him about who has come to meet him. Agastya, in all his delight, comes outside, hugs Rama like a son. He says, I am delighted to meet you. Anything. Then he praises Sita again for being with Rama during his time of despair. Agastya Muni gifts Rama a divine golden bow. It is said that this is the same bow that Vishnu used once to kill some army of demons. Along with the bow, he gives him nice golden armor, gold swords, all sorts of weaponry. He gives him 2 quivers which have never-ending supply of arrows. How great. Upon receiving all these gifts, Rama asks the same question that he has been asking to so many munis, rishis, ascetics, sages during his time in the Danda. Oh sage, tell me of a place where I can set up my hermitage so that me, my wife and my brother can stay there happily for the rest of our exile. Agastya says, around 2 yojanas south from here lies a beautiful place covered with banana trees along the banks of Godavari river. Near Godavari river, not on the banks, nearby Godavari. It is filled with all sorts of flowers, lotuses blooming, so many animals, deers roaming around. That alone is the perfect place for you and your wife and your brother. Rama is happy to know about this place, and at once he leaves for Panchavati, the name of this place. On his way to Panchavati, an eagle spots him. The eagle comes to him and Rama asks, who may you be, O eagle? Now this eagle is no ordinary eagle. He is an eagle who is very, very knowledgeable, who has been roaming the planet, flying across the planet for 60,000 years. When asked about his lineage and his identity, this eagle starting from the Saptarshis all the way to Kashyapa and him begetting children from Diti, Aditi, Danu and all his other wives, to the birth of Garuda, to the birth of Nagas. He explains almost all of creation. Ultimately, he says, I am the one born from Aruna's lineage. Me along with my brother Sampati. O king, I am the friend of your father Dasharatha, know me as Jaṭāyu, the son of Sheni. Upon knowing this, Rama hugs him and acknowledges him as a friend. Jaṭāyu leaves and they continue on their way to Panchavati. Eventually they come across this region which is filled with banana trees near Godavari. All those things that Agastya Muni said would be the indicators of Panchavati. Rama tells to Lakshmana and Sita, "Oh, it seems like we have reached Panchavati. We must find a place which is nearby some water source so that we have plenty of water. We must find a place that is filled with fruits, flowers, firewood. We must find a place which is safe for us." And he tells this to Lakshmana. Lakshmana, go find this place. Lakshmana finds this place and they set up their beautiful hermitage. Lakshmana, being the nice brother that he is, makes a separate room for Rama and Sita to have their personal time. He clears off an area of the forest so that deers can roam around freely. Sita can play with those deers. Flowers, fruits are aplenty. There will never be a shortage of food. Upon finding such a place, they set up their base. Seasons pass. One day Rama says, the water of the river Godavari, every morning they would go to the river Godavari to perform their daily rituals. Rama says, Lakshmana, this river has started to become cold. Flowers have started to wither. Trees have started to dry up. Indeed, winter is upon us. Similarly, months pass, seasons change. Once, when all these three are in their hermitage, they are spotted by this Rakshasi. And this Rakshasi is smitten by the looks of Rama. Nice young man, strong build, skin like gold. She is smitten. She comes to the hermitage. She says, "Oh, beautiful one, I am smitten by you. I wish to make you my husband." To which Rama playfully chuckles and he says, "Hey, look, here's my wife Sita. I am completely loyal to her. But still I'll give you a chance. My brother Lakshmana here is without a wife. He is also as good looking as me. He is also a great Kshatriya. You can marry him." Shurpankha does not love Rama. She lusts after Rama. And because it is lust, it takes her a second to shift her focus from Rama to Lakshmana. Now she is after Lakshmana, trying to woo him. Lakshmana says, so in this process, this entire process, Shurpankha also insults Sita. She says, "Why are you with this human lady? Marry me. I am a Rakshasi. I have so many powers. Only such a powerful woman like me is fit to be a wife to you. Discard of this human female." Now Lakshmana is the type of person who will never accept any sort of insult against Sita. So, in a rather mocking fashion, he says, "If you wish to be a servant for the rest of your life, be my wife. For I am always subservient to Rama. I will always follow his order. If you are willing to be a servant, become mine. Or even then, as a servant, I don't really have any true right of my own. Why don't you go and ask my brother again? Ask him to make you his co-wife. Shurpanakha is still smitten for Rama. But now she is a little annoyed because they are playing games with her. She tells to Rama, look, I am a very powerful Rakshasi. In one blow, I can eat this woman alive. I will eat this woman alive, and then I don't have to deal with all this co-wife and anything. I will be your wife, solely your wife, no other woman. Now upon saying this, Rama is also infuriated. How dare you speak of my wife? He orders Lakshmana to deface her at once. Lakshmana pulls out his sword and he chops off her ears and her nose. Shurpanakha shrieks in pain and runs away. She runs and runs and runs until she comes by the lair of Khara. Khara happens to be Ravana's brother. Also Shurpanakha's brother by logic. She comes to Khara, wailing, crying. Khara asks her, who has the power? Who has even thought of doing this to you? Tell me about it. Shurpanakha is rejected by both those, Rama and Lakshmana. But still she is smitten for both of them. So nicely she narrates how Rama looks, how Lakshmana looks. Nice melted gold like skin and everything. It doesn't matter if they've chopped off my nose and mine. I'm still fallen for them. Upon this, Khara says, I don't like this. This is a very bad deed that they have done upon me. I shall ensure. And so, while telling her all this story, Shurpanakha also mentions about Sita. So Khara says, okay, let me do one thing. I will send these 14 demons, very powerful demons in my army. I'll send these 14 guys after Rama and Lakshmana. I'll ask them to kill the both of them. And then bring Sita here so that she can be killed and you can drink her blood. Shurpanakha, along with those 14 Rakshasas, leaves towards Panchavati. They arrive at Panchavati and Rama sees these 14 guys. They wield a variety of weapons. Some of them have maces, some of them have swords, some of them have axes, some of them just fight with bare hands. And so Rama tells Lakshmana, oh Lakshmana, protect my wife until I deal with these people. As the Rakshasas approach, Rama fastens his bow and he shoots fiery golden arrows towards the 14. And their weapons are destroyed. With more arrows, he engulfs these 14 Rakshasas, kills them in an instant. Shurpanakha runs again towards her brother Khara. She comes back to Khara, she's crying again. Oh my god, what happened? Khara says, Khara is annoyed now. Like, enough with this crying. Did I not send 14 guys to kill Rama? What happened to them? And Shurpanakha says, oh, they were slain very easily by the scion of Kishore. Now Khara is really angry. Like, who is this guy? Super powerful. He's just a human, but he wields so much of power. I will not tolerate this. He calls his commander, his general, Dushana, and he says, "Oh Dushana, prepare your army of 14,000 Rakshasas. At once we will leave for Panchavati and we'll end this chapter of Rama once and for all. After that, I will ensure that Sita becomes my wife. I will kill the both of them and I will make Sita my wife." Recurring storyline. It happens again and again. So they start. And upon their journey from his lair to Panchavati, there are a number of ill omens that occur. You know, the sun loses its radiance, or so Valmiki says. Jackals start howling. Vultures start circling his army. An eagle comes and sits, not Jaṭāyu, some eagle, comes and sits atop Khara's chariot. These are all well-known ill omens. Khara says, I am so powerful that I can even defeat Indra when he is mounted on the Airavata. Who is this human? What is his power? I shall defeat him very easily. So he marches ahead without fear. The sound of his army spreads fear in all directions. Great army, ferocious army, 14,000 Rakshasas. As he reaches Panchavati, Rama sees these guys coming. Rama tells to Lakshmana, "Oh Saumitra, take Sita and go to a cave. To this cave you go so that you can protect her properly. I'll take care of it." Again, recurring story. So all these 14,000 people come and Rama ties his bow. He extends the bow to his ear. He leaves it. Makes a crackling sound like lightning. Rama is prepared for war. So is Khara's army. And they start fighting. Rama starts shooting several thousands of arrows towards Khara's army. It is said in the Ramayana during this, Valmiki compares Rama to Rudra. He says that the way Rama is firing all these arrows at Khara's army, it is akin to Rudra's Tandava to finish off the universe. At very few times will you see this throughout the Ramayana, that Rama displays such rage. Usually he is a very calm, straightforward man. Emotional at times. But you will not find him angry or full of rage. But this is how Valmiki describes it, as Rudra preparing for Tandava. As the battle continues, many of his Rakshasas fall. Dushana commands an army of 5,000 ferocious Rakshasas to attack Rama simultaneously. Rama says, okay. He starts firing arrows from all directions, encircling these Rakshasas to a point where the arrows even cover the sun. So many arrows. And he kills all 5,000 of them. After this, the commanders of Khara's army, Mahakapala, Sthulaksha and Trishira, all three of them start attacking Rama. Here is how these three along with Pramathi, four commanders. Mahakapala, Sthulaksha, Trishira and Pramathi. These four attack Rama along with their own minions. This is how Valmiki describes how Rama finishes off them all. First, Rama says to Trishira. Trishira attacks Rama. Rama sustains injury, but he still stands. So he says, Trishira, you have attacked me. Now you face my arrow. He strikes 3 arrows. He severs the 3 heads of Trishira. And Trishira falls. In a similar manner, he'll fire some arrows to kill off the horses that are running the chariot of these commanders. Horses are killed. Next he fires arrows. Charioteers are killed. Then next he fires arrows. Commanders are also killed. Ultimately, only Khara and Dushana. Dushana also falls to the frenzy of it. All 4 of these commanders gone. Dushana gone. Khara's confidence is shattered. But yet so he keeps fighting. Iron-clad arrows he takes in his bow and shoots towards Rama. Rama responds, cancelling off his attack with his own arrows. Fighting again and again and again. There's fire everywhere. There's destruction everywhere. Rama is injured gravely, filled with blood. Khara is also injured. Ultimately, Khara takes a mace with one bow and arrow. He severs the bow of Khara. Now that his bow is broken, he takes a mace. Rama shoots an arrow, the mace is broken. He takes an axe. Rama shoots an arrow, axe is broken. Finally, he is rendered weaponless. What he does is that he picks up a huge tree and he throws at Rama. Rama dodges. And he shoots an arrow, burning like the sun, which pierces Khara's heart. Khara falls. An entire army of 14,000 Rakshasas are defeated by this single man. In the aftermath of the war, Lakshmana brings Sita to Rama. And Sita cannot contain herself. She goes and she hugs Rama. Almost in a miraculous manner, all the injuries that Rama has are healed. A dejected Shurpanakha gets to know about the defeat of her brothers Khara and Dushana. Dushana was also Shurpanakha. Shurpanakha is scared, very very scared, and she runs off to Lanka at once to let her best brother, the one who, the eldest one, who rescues you from all problems, Ravana. So she goes towards Lanka to tell Ravana about how Janasthana is now completely devoid of Rakshasas because this one man has killed off all of them. In Lanka, Shurpanakha lands and she goes to Ravana's court and she describes this man to Ravana and she tells the entire story of how Khara's army is defeated by this one single man. Man, nonetheless, not a god. Man. Ravana is enraged by this because it hurts his ego. Such a scholarly person, so many boons, controls such a huge kingdom, has so many minions under him, all these Rakshasas doing only his bidding. And suddenly this man comes and he kills 14,000 of them. Next, Shurpanakha describes Ravana about Sita. Again, similar to Rama's description, Shurpanakha says, melted gold-like skin, beautiful jewel-like eyes, speech similar to Saraswati's, so beautiful. Slim waisted, very intelligent. So now Ravana is angry, but he is also intrigued by how Shurpanakha describes Sita. And Ravana says, you know what, okay, I'm your brother, I'll take care of it. And he goes to the place where he keeps all his chariots. Now, one of the commentaries that I have read in this regard says that the reason why Ravana goes to this place where his chariots are, usually people do what the king wants. So if Ravana wants to go to the Dandaka forest, he can just order someone saying, oh, go bring me my chariot, we'll go. Why does Ravana have to go to the particular place where his chariot is kept? Alone, that. Here some commentators say that somewhere in his mind, Ravana considers Rama as a worthy foe. He is not scared by him, but he is certainly intrigued by the kind of power that this Rama holds. So he says to himself, when he is near his chariot alone, he thinks to himself, he says to himself, waging war with this guy is not a very mindful option. A whole lot of my army can be destroyed if I do war against him. Nowhere is it particularly mentioned that Ravana is fearful of being defeated by Rama. Clearly he thinks that he will be the victor, but at a significant cost. So he says to himself, okay, war is bad for the economy. What else can I do? So he comes up to this conclusion that, my sister Shurpanakha was saying that there is this wife of Rama, extremely beautiful. The way she has described her, the way Shurpanakha has described Sita, clearly she is someone that I would want in my Lanka to Sushobhitikaran of Lanka, or the Sushobhitikaran, to make Lanka even more prominent. I wish for someone like Sita. Since I can't go on a full-blown war with Rama, let me do one thing. Let me kidnap his wife instead. Shurpanakha told me that Rama loves his wife very, very dearly. If his wife is not with him, if his wife is not with Rama, then Rama will be in a huge emotional turmoil. It might be a little more easier for me to defeat him in such a state. In the worst case, that a war happens, which it will, more or less. But the reason why he thinks of all this and says all of this to himself when he is alone is because kidnapping someone's wife like this, instead of going upfront and waging a war, is very much unlike Ravana, who boasts of himself. He has a lot of ego, he has a lot of pride in himself. So he says, Shurpanakha has already told this to me in an open court. There is no way that this news can be stopped from being spread throughout Lanka. If I don't do anything substantial, my image is at risk. And so since he is thinking of not going to an all-blown war with Rama and doing all this kidnapping of his wife, which doesn't seem worthy of Ravana's pride, he is thinking of all this alone, is what many commentators say. He sits in his chariot, Pushpaka Vimana, the one which he has stolen, let's say, from his brother Kubeya. He sits in this Vimana and he first goes to Maricha. He goes to Maricha. Maricha welcomes him. He says, "O king, why have you come here without informing me beforehand? Surely there must be something that is very, very urgent. Tell me, what do you want me to do for you?" Ravana tells him of this plan that he has hatched to kidnap Sita, which we'll see being executed in some time. Maricha listens to this plan and he says, he is frightened. He says, clearly the one who has told you about this plan, the one who has filled your ears about Rama and Sita, is an enemy of yours. He is no friend. It is stupid to do anything that will anger Rama or do anything that will displease Rama or will cause any harm to Rama. He recalls his encounter with Rama when he was just a new adult, let's say new adult, 17, 18 years. He hasn't grown facial hair yet. This is about a time when Vishwamitra called Rama and Lakshmana to slay Tataka. Tataka happens to be Maricha's mother. And he describes Ravana the way Rama killed Tataka. And then he tells Ravana, "See, O king, at that time he was just an adult who had attained fruition. Imagine how strong he must be today." Ravana does not budge. He is firm on his plan. So Maricha says, "Okay, there was this another time when I was roaming around in the Dandaka forest. You know, doing my usual stuff, hampering yajnas, eating yogis for fun. And I meet Rama, who is also roaming around the Dandaka forest. He shot my minions and his arrow nearly missed mine. At that very moment, I said, enough. I left Dandaka forest and I came here to Lanka under your command. I am in such a state today that even if I hear words like Ratna or Rajya or any word that even starts with R, I am frightened." Even after saying this, Ravana is like, "You are coming with me to execute this plan of mine. Either you get killed by the hands of Rama or you get killed by my hands. Right here, right now. Choose your poison." Maricha says, "Fine, maybe it is in my destiny to be killed by Rama. Okay, king, I will come along with you." He sits on the Pushpaka Vimana along with Ravana and they both leave for Janasthana. Janasthana or people's land is what it means. Apart from the northern kingdoms of Ayodhya, Maithili and everything, the southern part of India, which was mostly forest, is where all the Rakshasas resided, where all the saints and the ascetics used to come to attain moksha or to do all their Vedic rituals. This particular region, Dandaka forest and everything that surrounded it, didn't really belong to any one kingdom, hence the name Janasthana or people's place. They come to Janasthana at the edge of Panchavati. Ravana hides the Pushpaka Vimana and he tells Maricha, "Okay, you become this golden deer with skin as radiant as the sun, whose antlers are studded with gems, sapphires, rubies, topaz, You assume a form
Sadam.
that is so enchanting that Sita cannot take her eyes off of you. Maricha agrees. It becomes this golden deer. He comes near Rama's hermitage. Jovially starts jumping around. Sometimes he hides, sometimes he shows himself in a very playful manner, like any deer would. Coincidentally, Sita is out to fetch flowers, and her gaze falls on this deer. At once, she's bewildered, she's enchanted, she's in a trance by looking at this deer. She calls Rama and Lakshmana and she says, "Look at this majestic creature. I wish this deer for myself, so that later when we go to Ayodhya, this can be, a kind of a relic in our palace chambers. This deer is like no other. I want this deer for me." Rama says, "Okay, my dear wife, I'll get it for you." But Lakshmana says, such a deer, I don't think this is just as the way it looks. There's something fishy going on there. I think this is Maricha. Direct assumption. I think this is Maricha. Brother, you know that Maricha was famous for changing forms and killing and hunting Brahmanas. Such a creature may not even be found in Indraloka, let alone on this earth. I for sure think that this is a plan to do some harm upon. But Rama, straightforward man. Wife asks for deer. I want to give my wife the deer. He tells to Lakshmana, "Oh Lakshmana, what Maithili says is right. This deer will surely be a special relic in our palace chambers back in Ayodhya. Secondly, you say that such a deer cannot be found in Indraloka. If such a deer cannot be found in Indraloka, how can you expect such a deer to be found on this planet?" So he justifies Sita's demand. And he says, "Don't worry, do one thing. I will go after him. You are almost equally as capable as me. You protect Sita until I come back." Rama starts going towards the deer. Maricha, in the form of a deer, like any other deer, sees a human coming towards it and it runs away. Gives me campus vibes. No deer has ever come near it. They all run away the moment you start going towards them. Same is the case here. He starts running away, but the reason for his running away is to lure Rama so far that it becomes impossible for him to return in time while Ravana hatches his plan. Maricha, assumed with the form of a divine deer, runs away. Rama goes after him. Maricha is a very cunning Rakshasa. Sometimes he'll hide himself so that Rama has to further move away. Sometimes he'll show himself just so that Rama moves away further from the ashrama. Eventually, after some time, Rama also is tired. He sits below a tree, thinking where this deer has gone. Far, far away from the ashrama. Now he is also a little annoyed. Scorching sun, he is making me run after him. Why? Because my wife wants me to get this deer for her. And so the very next moment that Rama sees the deer, he takes his bow and he fires an arrow, piercing the deer's or Maricha's heart. Maricha lies there still in deer form. He wails in Rama's voice, cunning person, treacherous person, has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He wails, "Oh Lakshmana, oh Sita, I am killed." Sita and Lakshmana both listen to these cries of Rama. Sita, just like Rama, says, "My husband seems to be in danger. Oh Lakshmana, why don't you go and check? Why don't you go and help my brother?" Lakshmana, being the more logical one, says, "I don't believe all this. I am sure this is some trick played by Maricha to lure me also away from you. I am sure of that." But then, Sita starts weeping. She starts crying. She says, "If anything happens to my husband, I will go to the river Godavari and I'll drown myself to death." Emotional blackmail. Eventually, Lakshmana says, okay, I'll go, I'll check on you." Some versions of the Ramayana say that Lakshmana draws this Lakshmana Rekha around their cottage. I conveniently skipped that part because the translation that I read only has a mention of it. But it's a well-known story. We'll see what happens with the Lakshmana Rekha and without the Lakshmana Rekha. Both versions will take. Lakshmana goes far, far away from the ashram. Now comes Ravana. Disguised as a Brahmana, he comes to Sita and he asks for alms, like any Brahmana would. Sita goes into her cottage. Sita comes out with water, she washes his feet and she offers him alms. Ravana, like the demons before him, asks Sita the same question. How are you in this forest all by yourself? Do you not know that the danger the forest possesses? Sita is also, at this point, she's a little doubtful. She looks at the backdrop of the forest, but she sees no sign of Rama and Lakshmana. She thinks to herself, if I don't answer this Brahmana and tell him about my story, he might get angered and he might curse me. Or even if he just gets angered, that's a sin. Because he has asked me a question, I am bound to answer. So she stops for a moment. She thinks all of this. But she answers nevertheless. She tells her about how Rama, Lakshmana and her end up in the forest because of being exiled. And now how Rama and Lakshmana are always there for her protection. Coincidentally, are now far, far away into a forest searching for a deer. Counter questioning the Brahmana, Sita asks, "Oh great Brahmana, tell me about your lineage. Why forth are you in this forest, since you say that this is a very dangerous forest?" And Ravana reveals himself. He says, "I am Ravana, the king of Lanka. I am the same Ravana whose brother Khara was slain by your husband. I am bewildered by your beauty and I wish to make you my wife." Again, like Virada earlier, Sita says, No, I am only loyal to my husband. I cannot be your wife. I'm sorry." But Ravana is enraged. he starts boasting about all the feats that he has done. He says, because of me, Kubera has to go and stay at Kailasha, because he knows that I hold Kailasha very pious to me, the abode of Shiva. It is because of me. It is because of me that all these Brahmanas, me and my army, that all these Brahmanas are so frightened to perform Vedic rituals in this Dandaka forest. I am the 10-headed one, the wielder of Pushpaka Vimana, the wielder of several boons given to me by Brahma and Shiva. I am the one with so much power that I can take on all the gods at once and defeat them. Sita is frightened, but her love for Rama is more than her frightening nature for Ravana. Still she hesitates. She says, no, I cannot do this. Please leave me. Ravana is not a very patient man at this point. He reveals his true form, holds Sita by her braid and by her thigh, picks her up, calls for the Pushpaka Vimana, keeps her in the Pushpaka Vimana, starts flying away towards Lanka. Sita wails, she cries, desperate for help. She says to every single tree on her way to tell Rama and Lakshmana about what has happened to Sita. While screaming at the top of her voice, she is crying continuously in great distress. She is heard by Jaṭāyu. Jaṭāyu looks at this scene. Ferocious Ravana taking hold of Sita, going somewhere, abducting her. He cannot see Sita in such a state. He matches the speed of Pushpaka Vimana and he introduces himself to Ravana. He says, as long as I am breathing, I will not let you take Sita away from here. And he starts attacking Ravana. He starts attacking Ravana with his claws and with his wings. Ravana is annoyed. He starts firing arrows. He uses his huge wings to act as shields, stopping Ravana's attacks. Again, in a fit of fury, he speeds towards Ravana, injuring him severely. He attacks the horses of his chariots, kills them all. He attacks his charioteer, he kills them. The horses fall on the ground, the charioteer falls on the ground. He smashes Ravana's chariot to pieces. All those pieces of the gem-studded chariot, all of them fall on the ground, and so does Ravana along with Sita. But all of this has taken a toll on his physicality. He is a little tired. Ravana notices this and he starts attacking Jaṭāyu once again without breaking a sweat. Jaṭāyu sustains the frenzy of arrows that is shot at him by Ravana. He pounces on his back, he scratches his back, tearing Ravana's flesh off of his body. He breaks Ravana's bow and he attacks and he pecks him on his head with his beak. Ravana keeps Sita on the ground. He takes out his sword and he chops off Jaṭāyu's feet and his wings. The mighty Jaṭāyu is now fallen onto the ground. Ravana screams demonically. He takes hold of Sita, who is trying to escape from his grasp. And he again starts moving towards Lanka. Sita is still crying, wailing, hoping that someone would hear. But all the protectors who were meant to protect Sita, which was, Jaṭāyu alone, is now fallen. Noticing that Ravana is hurriedly going towards Lanka because he does not want any encounter with Rama or Lakshmana, Since he is hurriedly going towards Lanka, he is not paying much attention to what Sita is doing. Sita tears off a few pieces of cloth. She loosens her anklet, and like breadcrumbs, she drops them one by one by one. She drops some ornament, she drops a piece of her sari. On her way to Lanka, she observes a group of 5 Vanaras. She says to herself, these Vanaras, if they come into contact with Rama and Lakshmana, will surely know which direction I am headed. So what she does is that she tears off another piece of her clothing. She has a necklace, beaded necklace. She wraps it in the cloth and she throws it towards the monkeys, the Vanaras, not the monkeys, the Vanaras. Eventually, Sita and Ravana reach Lanka. At once, Ravana calls for all his servants and he tells his servants, ask Sita whatever she wants, gold, silver, jewelry, ornaments, clothes, anything that she wishes for, you bring it to her. Sita is not budged. She says, now that you have kidnapped me, my husband will surely come to know of it. If needed, he'll even come here all the way to Lanka and he'll surely slay you. I know for a fact. Ravana takes Sita atop a skyscraper in Lanka and he tells Sita, look at the glory of the empire that I have. Look at all these servants that I have at my disposal. Look at all the treasure, the weapons that I possess. No way in any given instance can your husband come here and defeat me. Still, Sita says, there's no way I am becoming your wife. Ravana is infuriated at this point. How dare she? How dare she go against me so many times? With red, blood-filled eyes, he roars at Sita. He says, see, look, you have a period of 12 months. Agree to be my wife, or the very next morning we will have you for breakfast. Saying this, he leaves her in Ashok Vatika and he goes away. Back in Dandaka, Rama sees the deer, who now reverts back to his original form of Maricha. And he realizes what must have conspired. He is overwhelmed with emotion. At once he rushes back to the hermitage. On his way to the hermitage, this man meets Lakshmana. Naturally he asks, see brother, I asked you to stay by my wife. What are you doing here? Lakshmana naturally replies, look man, it's not my fault. I told her it must have been Marich. But she was crying so loud and she was wailing, she was unhappy, she was suicidal even. So I said, fine, I'll come and look for you. And so Rama is not angry per se at his brother. Instead he says, I heard the way Maricha screamed in my tone. It is natural for anyone, even the both of you, to assume that it is my voice and it is me who needs help. So I don't blame you, but I am extremely emotional. I am no longer with my wife. All the ill that Kaikeyi had thought about me has come to fruition again. We should return back to Ayodhya. I cannot fulfill my father's promise. I am of no worth. I have lost my wife in these woods. We must go back at once. Lakshmana tells Rama, oh brother, it's okay. He tries to console Rama. He says, who knows, maybe Sita has just gone to Godavari to take a bath. Or maybe she just wants to look at our reaction and she's trying to prank us. So she's hiding somewhere. Once we find her, everything will be alright. Momentarily, Rama says, fine, I'll accept what you're saying. Let's look for Sita. They track down the entirety of Chitrakoot mountain. They go from place to place in Dandaka forest, but Sita is nowhere to be seen. Rama again says, I do not think I can live without my wife anymore. You go back to Ayodhya. You let my mothers know what all transpired. Let them know that I revere them a lot. Let my people know that I love them a lot, but I could not be the king that they wished me to be. Saying this again, Lakshmana consoles him. He says, it's okay, brother. We keep searching for her. Eventually, I'm sure that we'll find her. I hope nothing bad has happened. So they keep searching. On their way, they come across the torn piece of clothing, the ornament that was left there by Sita. They come across those wounded horses and that gem-studded chariot that was on the ground, a dead chariot. Rama tells Lakshmana, indeed some great being has passed from here and some great calamity has befallen him. For such a chariot can only be possessed by someone of Indra's stature. So he says, there is a chance that this might be related to Sita, or whoever was in this chariot might let us know where Sita is. So they keep searching and eventually they come across Jaṭāyu. Jaṭāyu is on the verge of his death. He looks at Rama, he says, oh friend, all my powers have been stolen, just like your wife has been stolen. At once, Rama hugs Jaṭāyu and starts crying. He says, the worst has happened. My wife has been kidnapped. Oh Jaṭāyu, tell me of what all happened. How did you end up in such a state? Jaṭāyu tells him his entire story. And Rama keeps on inquiring. Eventually he asks, oh Jaṭāyu, tell me, do you know about the whereabouts of my wife? Before Jaṭāyu could answer, he falls to the ground and he passes away. Rama is extremely dejected. But he's sorrowful for his wife, of course, but he's also sorrowful for his friend. Knowing the kind of friend that he was and the way he pounced on Ravana despite just being an eagle, he is extremely respectful towards him now, considering the deed that he has done. In Rama Avatara, it happens very few times that Vishnu in his avatara form as Rama does something that is only capable of, Narayan himself. And he says, Yagati yajnashalinam ahita agne cha yagati apara avartinam ya chaya cha bhumi pradayinam. I command you to go to that place where people who perform Vedic rituals rightfully go. Essentially, he is saying that he is commanding Jaṭāyu to go to Vaikuntha. Who but Narayana himself can order someone to go to Vaikuntha? This is one of the few times that Rama embodies his personality as the Narayana, as Trivikrama. With this, Jaṭāyu attains Moksha and goes to Vaikuntha. With this, I I finished today's talk. I hope you have been interested enough. You weren't bored throughout the talk. I think we extended far beyond the time, I think, for around 15-20 minutes. But thank you for staying back. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad.
Powering on. I am
You can-
curious, all these commentaries, is there a reason that so many times, like all the obstacles that Rama faces in the Dandakaranya are all related to Sita? Is there a reason given for that? Like why is it always centered on that? Like foreshadowing or like,
Because only Mahalakshmi will motivate Vishnu to protect his devotees.
okay.
Lakshmiyasaha, Hrishikeshaha, Devya, Karunyarupaya, Rakshakas Sarvasiddhante, Vedante Picha Giyate. Only when Vishnu is with Mahalakshmi, he will protect his devotees and she only motivates him.
Okay. Huh. Okay, thanks.
Janaki Kanta Smaranam
Jai Jai Rama Rama.
Dinadayalo, Dinadayalo,
Dinadayalo, Dinadayalo,
Dinadayalo, Dinadayalo,
Dinadayalo, Dinadayalo,
Dinadaya para Devadayalo,
Dinadaya para Devadayalo,
Dinadayalo.
Kanakambaragara,
Shamadayalo,
Kanakambaragana, Shamadayalo,
Sanakadimuni yogi Vinutadayalo,
Sanakadi Muni Yogi Vinutadayalo,
Saradi Vandana Ramachandra Dayalo,
Sharadi Bandhana Rama Chandra Dayalo,
Varadamara Brinda Valya Dayalo,
Varadamara Vrinda Valya Dayalo, Dayalo, Dinadayalo.
दयाळु
साक्ष रघुनाथ दयाळु
आगम कल्पित अमित दयाळु
आगम कल्पित अमित दयाळु
भोगी शयन परम पुरुष दयाळु
भोगी शयन परम पुरुष दयाळु
गगनान्तर्गत नाथ दयाळु
गगनान्तर्गत नाथ दयाळु
निगम गोचर निर्विकार दयाळु
निगम गोचर निर्विकार दयाळु दशकण्ठलुण्ठलो दण्ड दयाळु
कुशल भजन क्रूर दयाळु
कुशल वजनक अक्रूर दयाळु
दशरथ सुत लोक धार दयाळु
दशरथ सुत लोक आधार दयाळु
पशुपती चापस्थित दयाळु
पशुपति छापत्रित दयाळु
वरभद्रादि निवास दयाळु
वरभद्राद्रि निवास दयाळु
वरभद्रादि निवास दयाळु
वरभद्राद्रि निवास दयाळु
वरभद्रादि निवास दयाळु
वरभद्राद्रि निवास दयाळु
पालित श्रीरामदास दयाळु
पालित रामदास दयाळु
दीन
दयाळु दीन दयाळु दीन दयापद देव दयाळु
दीन दयाळु दीन दयाळु
साकेत निलयाय सनक मुनि पूज्याय सरयू नदी तीर विहरणाय राजेन्दु वदनाय रम्यगुणनिलयाय राजाधिराजाय राघवाय जयमङ्गलो नित्य शुभमङ्गलो जानकीकान्तस्मरणं
जय जय राम राम
Stop.
How to switch this off?
Give X.
इधे नाम करते हैं तो मैंने ना पाड़ी
Please get the
वरभद्राद्रि निवासदयालो is fine. Paramabhadragiri Vasada.